Good morning. As you can see, I'm inside again because the pool deck apparently was not cleaned good enough yesterday. So he's back out there this morning. I appreciate his dedication to making sure everything looks good for us. So, at any rate, um, I had a conversation yesterday, like a happy hour, virtual happy hour with a couple of girlfriends last night, and I don't know what. I think we were just talking about like different things that we're doing, and I ask myself these two questions almost every morning: What do I need today, and what will bring me joy? And if you're doing the intermission insight sheets, it's what I would call joy juice activity. What like really gets your joy juices flowing? What can you do that each day that's going to like really bring you a sense of peace and fulfillment and joy? What does joy mean to you? So, what's really interesting was, so we were talking about this, and um, I said, well, what? I don't even actually, I can't even recall the exact question, but it kind of was like, um, what's a joyful moment you've had, or what does joy mean to you? And I think it was actually, I think it was really based around like the question of, what can you do to bring you joy? And my one friend said, for me, joy is about a moment that happens that is, that just appears. You're not necessarily doing anything. It just comes to you. And she recounted an interaction between her husband and their kids, and just how it was this really playful, lighthearted, really sweet moment that she witnessed, and for her, that was incredibly joyful. That brought her such joy. And that got me thinking, like, okay, if I were to take that as my guide, what would that be? And I remember it was a few years ago now, and this relates to my family. Um, Obviously, before my not anymore husband and I decided to go in different directions in our lives, but I remember we had all of the kids were home. I think at the time we had two of them in college, and both of the our oldest two sons were home from college, and the younger two were home, and we were all sitting in our family room together, and we were watching a movie, but we were also talking. Nobody was on their phones, and we were just all together enjoying each other. And I remember sitting there in that moment, just like taking it all in. Like as I recount that to you, I can feel it, I can see it. It's indelibly etched in my being. Like it was just such a joyful moment, truly joyful. Um, and since that moment, I've had many others, where it's been like just everything goes smoothly and seamlessly, and even in what seems to be like a little bit of a misstep, or um, something kind of goes off the path a little bit, like somehow it rights itself without doing anything, and it turns out to be this most joyous day. I mean, I've had more than just moments, I've had days. For any of you, I actually shared this story with my friends last night. For any of you who watch the Harry Potter movies or read the books, I can't remember which one it is. I think it's one of the later books or movies, and um, Harry wins this potion, Felix Felicis, and you basically, if you drink it, everything will go right. Like it's everything is perfect. Everything is going to be just fine all the time. You can't fail. Success is the only option. And so he's desperate to find out some information from one of the professors, and so he drinks the potion. And everything he does, even if it seems like it's a problem, ends up being a gift in disguise. And, you know, I think that is a message for all of us. Like, we don't need to drink some potion, we just have to be in that state of receivership, in that state of flow, and know, even in the seeming missteps, and even when it feels like we've gone off the path, that we will get back on. Sometimes we have to take action, and sometimes we just have to flow with it. Um, you know, one of the most perfect days I recall was a little over a year ago. I was with a really dear friend of mine, and it was one of those days where everything was just perfect, and we just let it flow. I mean, the whole day was just a day of allowing everything to unfold, and we had general senses of our plan, but we weren't super um, tight on time or restricting ourselves. We just allowed everything to unfold, and it was one of the most perfect days, if not like in my top 5 perfect days. And I think that's part of it. Something that I know that I remind myself of regularly is just just relax into it. Don't push too much. Don't try to pull somebody along. Just be in the flow. Be in the moment. I know people talk about be in the flow a lot, and I think it's really more about just relaxing into what's happening. Just allow it all to unfold. Don't clutch or cling too much. Don't push or pull too much. Take action when you can. Follow your inner guidance and wisdom. Trust yourself, trust the supports are out there, trust the right people and circumstances will show up, even when that feels really, really hard. And in that, you will find more and more joyful moments, days, maybe weeks, months, years at a time. Who knows? So, anyway, I'd be curious what your definition of joy is, and how do you bring that into your life, or where has it shown up unexpectedly in maybe a really seemingly small moment that you witnessed or were part of? And please share. I mean, share the joy. Who would turn that down? So, yeah, yeah. All right. Hopefully that spoke to you today. I'm hoping to be outside tomorrow, coming to you from my balcony. Remember, we learn from one another. So please share your thoughts on joy and spread a little joy to someone you love if you think this would resonate with them. All right. I will see you here tomorrow. Bye for now.